Hi there, and welcome to Behind the Recipe. I'm Christina, and I'm so excited to have you join me. If you're a food lover, a home cook, or someone who just loves a good kitchen chat, you are in the right place. Join me every week as we dive into the joys of cooking, explore kitchen tips and tricks, and share delicious recipes that will inspire your next meal. Now, some weeks it's just me chatting with you about my favorite quick tips and tricks or meal ideas, or even fun cooking stories, but other times I'll invite on special guests to share their insights and passion for food. So whether you're a seasoned cook or just learning your way around the stove, there's something for everyone. Now let's get cooking. Today, we are diving into 6 essential recipes that every home cook should know. Think of these as your kitchen or cooking foundation. If you master these, you will have the tools to build a wide range of meals that you can use on multiple occasions. So let's jump into this list. Number one, and it's one of the most versatile recipes you can learn to make, is a classic roast chicken. It is truly one of the most perfect comfort foods. Now, mastering this recipe will teach you so much. You're going to learn how to season properly, the importance of temperature control, plus, you'll even learn how to carve a bird. And a roast chicken is more than just one meal. You can use the leftovers in soups and sandwiches and salads and casseroles. And don't forget to save the bones for homemade chicken stock. It's really a gift that keeps on giving. I can't tell you how many times I make a roast chicken or even buy a rotisserie chicken. I mean, let's face it, that's a great cheat too. But we get so much out of them. It's a great recipe to have in your repertoire, and it's really super simple to make. And as another bonus, once you've mastered this technique, cooking a holiday turkey is a cinch. You know all the techniques. It's just a different type of bird. All right, so while we're on this chicken train, let's move on to the second recipe you need to know how to master, and that is chicken soup. Now, it's not just for the soul, as the book entails. It's really one of those lifesavers in the kitchen. I can't tell you how many containers of chicken broth and stock I go through when I'm cooking. Just I use it in just so many recipes. And a homemade chicken soup, it's comforting, it's nourishing, and it's so versatile. And by mastering this recipe, you're going to learn how to build flavor because we're using aromatics like onions and carrots and celery, and how to make the most of leftover things like chicken and the chicken bones. So once you've got this recipe nailed down, you can create so many variations, right? We have chicken noodle soup, chicken rice soup, there's creamy chicken soups. You can even swap out the chicken for leftover turkey after the holidays, or just use the plain broth in all of your favorite recipes that call for chicken stock or broth. It is so versatile and it freezes perfectly. So you need to know how to make this one. I mean, it's magic too, right? If you're not feeling good, like I'm feeling a little under the weather these days, I've got some throat thing going on, but chicken soup just makes you feel all warm and cozy, and I think there's magic in it somewhere. All right, moving on. The next classic recipe you need to know how to master is a basic marinara sauce. Now, this is a simple but powerful recipe that every cook should have in their repertoire. And I'm going to tell you the basic marinara sauce that I have takes only 30 minutes to make. So it's not an all day thing. You can have this on the table on the busiest of weeknights. And it's made with just a few simple ingredients: tomato, garlic, olive oil, herbs, and onions. And it's a lesson in really learning how to balance flavors. Knowing how to make a good marinara sauce will set you up for success with so many recipes like pastas and pizzas and even shakshuka if that's something that you like for breakfast. I mean, you can use it in that. It's also a great way to appreciate how simple cooking can really taste flavorful. One of my tips I love to give when it comes to making marinara is use the best ingredients you can afford for this. Because it's so simple and there's only a handful of ingredients, spring for the good tomatoes, those San Marzano canned tomatoes. They're really the best and they add such great flavor to the recipe. And don't cheap out and use the jarred garlic. chop up your own garlic for this. It makes a difference, I think, in the final recipe. Okay, moving on. Knowing how to cook a steak perfectly is like a rite of passage for any home cook. Now, a well seared steak is going to teach you the importance of controlling heat, right? Because we need to make sure we're getting a good crust on that steak, but we're not overcooking the center. It also teaches you timing and how to let meat rest before you cut into it. Plus, once you've got the basics of searing down, you can start using it for all kinds of proteins like pork and fish and chicken. It's really going to help you build confidence in cooking those types of proteins. Plus, it's a great one of those great recipes that doesn't take long. If you've come home after a long day and you can sear a steak, it's just the perfect end to a crazy day. Now, I like to use cast iron when I'm searing a steak just because it heats up great, it retains that heat, and it really helps to give you that good crust that we're looking for on the outside so that that gets done well while the inside stays the perfect temperature you're going for. Okay, we're closing in here on the end. So, the number 5 recipe you need to know how to make is a homemade vinaigrette. And this may seem so simple, but a homemade vinaigrette is really transformative. It's a quick lesson in emulsification and the balance of flavor, right? Because you have to get the right ratio of oil to acid and then adding flavor with mustard or honey or herbs or anything like that. And once you've mastered a vinaigrette, those store-bought dressings are not going to do it for you anymore. You're really going to, I found myself, once I learned how to do this, I just swapped out all those store-bought dressings and I just whip up my own. It takes literally minutes to put together and you have the perfect dressing. Plus, it's so versatile, right? You can not only use it on salads, like green salads, but you can use it in pasta salads. You could use it as marinade. You can even use it for roasted vegetables. There's so many uses for a great vinaigrette. Oh, I'd like to also use it when I make sandwiches as like a dressing on my sandwich. So if I'm making like an Italian sandwich or like my favorite is just like a salami and cheese sandwich, I always use a homemade vinaigrette on that instead of like mayonnaise or mustard or anything. So it's just another alternative for you. Okay, number 6, and I saved this one for the end. There is the classic chocolate chip cookie. Everybody needs to know how to make that. They're not just a delicious treat, but it's a great introduction to baking. Learning how to make the perfect chocolate chip cookie teaches you how to measure ingredients properly, how to understand leavening agents, and how to control baking temperatures. Plus, once you've mastered the basics, you can experiment with add-ins like nuts and sea salt or different types of chocolate. So I have a funny story here about chocolate chip cookies. Several years ago, my son, when he was in middle school, was participating in the Pennsylvania Junior Academy of Science project. So in this program, they had to choose an experiment of their choosing and they had to test different hypotheses, right? They had a control experiment that they did, and then they made changes to that and tested various hypotheses. So for my son's project, he chose to do chocolate chip cookies and to see how different ingredients will react in different situations. So he used, instead of softened butter, he used melted butter. Instead of brown sugar, he increased the white sugar. So he had all different kinds of things going on. And then he was testing the results to see how they would turn out. Well, in typical preteen boy format, he did not tell me about this project until the night before it was due. So let me set the stage a little bit more for you here. For this experiment, he had to do 3 trials. So he had to make the control plus any of his hypotheses. I don't even know how to say that right. The hypothesis versions. So in which case he had 3 different variations. We had a control. No, he had the control and 2 variations. So 3 total. He had to make them 3 times. So that is 9 batches of chocolate chip cookies that we started making at 6 p.m. because that's when he told me that it was due the next day. So he's whipping up these cookies. So not only did he need to bake them, but they all needed to be measured with a ruler to see how far they spread, how high they rose. They need to be weighed. They needed to be photographed. So this was quite the production in my kitchen. And it carried on pretty late that evening. But I'm going to tell you, by the time he got done with his ninth batch of cookies, he knew how to make a perfect chocolate chip cookie. So there's something to be said for repetition, and that kind of applies to all these recipes. Once you get a good recipe that you like, just keep making it over and over and over again until you feel like you've mastered it, and you can even start tweaking it to add your own spin on it once you get comfortable with it. So I really feel that these 6 recipes are important because each one teaches essential techniques that are the building blocks in the kitchen, right? They're versatile, they're approachable, and once you've mastered them, they really open the door to other dishes that you can do. And they're the kind of recipes, they may seem simple, but they can really impress your friends and family because they're going to show your skill, but they help really bring people together. So if you haven't tackled all of these yet, don't worry. Start with one, maybe like the chocolate chip cookies, so you have that sweet reward, and work your way through them. Now you can find links to these recipes in the show notes of your podcast app, or hop over to itisakeeper.com/BTR. That's Bravo. I'm so bad with this. B as in boy, T as in trip, R as in Rover, and you can find them there too. Yeah, I'm really bad with coming up with those, what the letters stand for. Sorry about that. But I really want to thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Behind the Recipe. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and picked up a few tips to try in your kitchen. And if you loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe and please leave a review on your favorite app and share it with your friends. And I'd love to hear from you. So send me your questions, feedback, or recipe ideas. Just head over to itisakeeper.com/BTR. Until next time, happy cooking. And remember, everything's better when shared in the kitchen.